and start the meeting. And to start the meeting work, I'm going to be sharing my screen and going over the poster halts and how that works and how you can go in and edit. And we will also be going over the sponsors and how you can edit the sponsor page. So currently, if you can see my screen, we are on our IDCC page. If you are an IDCC poster author that needs to edit your page, you will have access to just the poster haul and to the content that you can edit. So multiple ways of doing this is if you know your title, you can search it up here and it should pull up. And then other ways would be just to scroll down through the list and make sure that you can see you could see all of the poster hauls listed on here. I just want to make sure, can everyone see my screen? Could you just put in the chat? I did share the screen. I just want to make sure. Okay, let me try this again. All right, I hope this is better. I apologize about that. Can everyone see my screen now? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that. So let's back up. This is the IDCC page. And when you access it, when you have access right now, currently until the 12th, you will only see what you are able to edit. So if you are a poster or you are a supporter for IDCC, you will only be able to edit accordingly to those specific content. So when you get to the poster haul page, there will be a search bar. So you can also search by title. For example, if you're, it's easy as just putting it in here, or you can scroll down and find your specific poster. We're going to use the first one as an example. So right now, of course, no one has gone in and made all their posters and made the edits accordingly. So what you will do is you're going to see a blank page like this, and you're going to find a settings bar on the bottom left-hand side that says edit. You will click edit, and under edit, you will need to fill out as much as information you want to share with the users on the platform. So of course, the name, if you have any intro or description for your poster, if you need to add any images, what I recommend is if they are an image for the poster or it's an on-demand content, you need to put it in as a hyperlink so that and I will show you how to do that, but you can go ahead and put in as many images as you want. And then allowing people to comment, these are actions that you are allowing users to do. So for example, if you turn this on, you're going to allow users to comment on your poster. And status is also active right now so that you can see it as you're going on. And as far as the tags, you can tag if there's something specific that goes to your poster. When you go into the rotators, and members, you can actually, going back to the rotator, you could add a rotator on here if you want an image on your poster. For example, like we discussed, if it needs to be a video, then you're going to copy your Vimeo link into here. We only are compatible with YouTube, Vimeo, and Vista. And if it's an image, we do recommend a web version of a JPEG. So please make sure that you put in the title, the type of content that you are uploading, and the image that you want or the video that you want. And then if there needs to be a redirect URL that you want users to be able to access through, that you can also add in here. Always remember to save your changes so that they save on the front end. And then for members tab, this is where you can add a member. So for example, I actually removed Yumeng. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. So you can add as many as your team members on here. And so since this is Yumeng's poster, I'm going to go ahead and add him, give him admin rights so he can edit the poster, save changes, close this, and just make sure we're always saving changes here so that the changes are being shown in the front end. You can add as many users on your team on here, but keep in mind the minute you give them admin access, they have the right to edit the poster as well. Resources. Once again, these are all documents that you would like to provide users so that they can download and take with them if there's any research or anything that you would like users to download so they can have, and that's not confidential. You are able to put in a title, the description of it, if there's a URL, or you can upload a PDF here and it will be downloadable on the front end. Questions. This is an area that you're going to be putting on any questions that you want users to answer for you. So for example, like you could, what if they have a specific, what they thought about your poster, if it was a actual content piece, or if it was a video and you would like feedback, you can make these questions as custom as possible. You can make the type a multiple choice, a poll, fill in blank order, or even a rating. These are downloadable afterwards so that you can download the analytics of what you got from the actual poster or user experience when they visited your poster. Always, once again, remember to save your changes so that they can save on the front end. Now moving on to analytics, that's where I was saying that you can actually see how many people viewed your poster, total downloads, and you can see how many people actually clicked into your poster. So this is a great opportunity to make sure that, if you do want analytics, then, you can come here and actually see it. Keep in mind, only members who are attached to the poster, for example, in this one, Yumeng is, he would be the only one to access this information. This is unless you add another member in here. Once you are done with making all your changes, just always remember to save your changes, and then you can always view your page and it will all filter in here. I hope this made sense as far as this posters go. Keep in mind that this is how it would look like on the front end for users. So when you have your video or you have your PDF, they will be able to see it here. If you do give any connect with like LinkedIn or any kind of information here, like email address, they will populate over here. When you add members, they will be all added here. So we do recommend you go in and make your profile and add a headshot image so that you can go ahead and schedule timing on your profile as well of when your availability is, so users can schedule timing to meet with you. And then connect with us will be an option where you can have, where you will also be able to connect through social media or whatever platform is easiest for you. And then analytics, as discussed, you will see here all of your analytics as far as the duration of the event and how many people have clicked, viewed, how many people download any resources if you've added them. And this is where you can download that stuff. So for example, if I was to comment on your page and you wanted to see all the comments, at the end of the day, you just come into here and make sure to download it. And you can download the activity log or any poll responses or questions if you had them. So it's very user-friendly on the front end. Does anyone have any questions right now as far as posters before we move on to, move on to the sponsors? And yes, I will show one of the RDA posters once that is already populated. Let me go ahead and open that for. All right, so this is one of the posters that has already been populated. As you can see, they have put in their PDF or PowerPoint version of their content, and then they decided to connect with us by, yes, it's not completely, but this is just an example so far that has been somewhat done. So we will still share it. The website can be linked. So of course they have a website link, so it will go straight directly to that. Since Vashti has already added a headshot, you can see that you can schedule with her depending on her availability and what day you would like to talk with her, if you have a name for the meeting and if you need to personalize any. Keep in mind, these messages aren't going to be shown to other users. These are only between user and user. They do not, no one else can see them. So this is just a more of a personalized way to make a control of scheduling a meeting with someone. Also, if you did add resources, like I mentioned, you can put them here under resources, like we said, in the edit button, and they will populate like this. And then when I go to click on it, it's downloadable. So I would be able to download the PDF and I would be able to have that. This is some questions I see that have been put. This is a fill in the blank. Of course, this is multiple choice. And then this is, of course, just all description of the content for under the poster. And once again, she will be able to, as people keep clicking and downloading, she will be able to collect all the data as much as possible. So any other questions about posters before we move on to sponsors? How can I add my surname below my headshot? So that's all going to be under your profile. You would have to go in your profile and just put your title in. Are the survey visible to everyone or just admin? No, the survey is only visible to the poster author, whoever has access to this. So for example, if I was to make these questions, no one else can see what I answered, but when you go to download them, you'll be able to see what user answered what on the poll responses.
Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you? I'm a bit shocked to see my poster being used as the example because I was hoping to learn how to use the system. My surname is in my profile, but it's not coming through in the members list.
Okay, I will look into it after this call and see why that is the case. It could be just first name, last name, and your company. We may have to add it in a way that we could put a surname in there.
Yeah, I think that would look better, and I think other people might agree with me.
Okay, so yes, so I would have to see in the back end to see how we can get that added. But because it's such a small area, we would just need to find a way to make sure that everything is being shown accordingly. All right.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Is there any other questions? What is the difference between rotators and resources? So resources is, like I mentioned, let me just go back into the edit. Resources are downloadable documents. They're, for example, these are slides that Fossey has put on here so that they're a PDF that can be downloaded. Rotators are just an image file, which is what you saw at the top. So let me go back. I apologize. Let me go back. So this is a rotator at the top because you can notice that her slides are linking or are rotating, sorry. And then the resources is where she put the PDF so it could be downloadable. Any other questions before we move on to sponsors or supporters? I apologize. All right, great. So moving on, we're going to go to the IDCC supporter page. Keep in mind that this works the same exact way as the poster hall does. It has the same exact feature. So you have to go in and edit and build your page accordingly. The only difference is as a sponsor, you might have more of a video, or you might have, less like research content, et cetera, like that. So the same thing you would do for the same exact process goes for supporters pages. You just need to fill in the basic information here, and the description would be, of course, your company information. The icon you'll see on we'll go over where these two are landing when we get to the page. Any action, status, and tags you can add. And then, for example, members, right? Usually think of this as a virtual booth or a virtual exhibit. So if you were at in a live event, you would want to add as many as your team members within the company to make sure that people can come actually schedule meetings and are networking with you. So Once in, you would just need whoever is admin. I've already added majority of the admins, but if you need to add more members, you would just go into the directory, search their name, and you would add them. If you give them admin rights, keep in mind, they will get to edit the page. So you can add them without giving them admin rights. You don't need to have that necessarily. Resources, like we mentioned, these are downloadable. You have to add them by adding the resource, file name, and then pressing upload. These are downloadable, so they can take them with them. So any content, any questions that you would like to throw out to any users, this is a great section that you know, we just have for now, as far as like user interaction with other with sponsors. It's a great way to have networking. And then any analytics that you might have, or let's go to metadata. So any metadata is anything that when you saw the connect with us, so you can add, of course, the website, a LinkedIn or a Twitter, depending on what platforms of social media you would like to share with users or for them to connect with you afterwards. And then analytics, of course, like we mentioned, you can pull these after the end of the day, or you can pull them every hour. These are accessible to you to just have so that you can see who's been viewing your page, viewing your content, downloading your content, and any activity that you might have set up on the front end. And always remember to save changes. And going back, as I mentioned, the icon lives here because that's what the icon is. If you add it over there, if you added an image here, then it would show up here. So it's all of this is very customizable according to how you would like to have your page featured to the users. So please keep that in mind, that any information you do put, users will have access to it. There's nothing that we can hide that could only just be for yourself. So I got a question from Vashti. I'm trying to understand how to go from a standard AO1 poster format to this platform. Is this a type of file, Vashti, or?
So perhaps we could come back to that question after you finish this. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, it's okay. So any comments or questions about the supporters page? Like I said, it literally, the platform and the features are exactly like the posters. There is no difference. So when you go in to edit, it's the same exact, like I said, whatever you put in the edit button, all users will see. There's nothing we can hide from the users. So please keep that in mind. What are suggested dimensions for the rotator? Or are we talking about the rotator for the image? Here, let me just go make sure that we're talking about over here. So I will give that exact specs afterwards. I'm not 100% sure as far as what exact the dimensions are, but I will make sure to hand that off to the team. Any other questions before we move on to RDA? All right, so for RDA poster haul, it is basically the same exact concept. And I apologize for being very repetitive throughout this training. I just want to make sure that we're very clear that anything and everything that gets put in here will be shown on the user side. So I would hate to use someone else's poster again, but I just want to show you, like, you know, we already have an icon going over here. We already have 2 members added onto here. Please do keep in mind, if you finish completing your profile, and to do that, you need to do on the upper right hand side at the top, you need to click on that, upload an image, and put in all your basic information so that when users are on the platform, they can schedule meetings with you accordingly. So please feel free to, you know, do the same concept for these posters. You just need to make sure you're going into edit page and filling on as much as information you need. always save your changes. You can go in and edit as many times. This is not going to be like locked throughout the event. You maybe tomorrow you might have different resources that you want to add and for users to download on the second day or the third day. You're more than welcome to add those resources as needed here so that they're able to download them. And then the same thing goes for the sponsors. You are going to have, when you go into the sponsors page, there you'll have most of the logos majority of all the logos are up. So you just need to click on your sponsor and you need to make sure to have, edit your page by adding as much information as you need. This is one of the ones that are very complete. So it's a great example to use, but you see that they put an icon, an image, a full description, an intro, and then all of the information that can be provided to users so they have access to it. You'll see that they used a rotator for IDCC, just a regular image. It's not going to rotate because there's not multiple images. For members, you see that Alex has the admin rights on here, so she is only able to edit because she has admin rights. If I go to add myself, I would not be able to edit, which I can, but yeah, so if I was able to add myself, if I didn't want to give admin rights, I just need to press save changes, and then I would be able to just view the page. I wouldn't be able to, I'm not the manager, so I would not be able to edit. And I'm just going to delete myself so that we don't make this a mess. But moving on, resources, nothing has been added yet, but you can have as much downloadable content here. Questions, sessions, metadata is how they connect with you as far as your social media and any analytics that you would like to get pulled. So both sponsors and posters have, once again, the same features. Just please make sure you can't just edit anyone else's page because you have to have admin rights to that poster or that sponsor to have those edits be taken. So let me go to the chat and see if we have any questions here. Is there, but as we're trying to get impression, use PowerPoint slide or more than one? Yes, you can use a PowerPoint slide or you can use more than one image. They will just rotate.
Can I go back to my question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for many of us, certainly for me, when I'm asked to do a poster, I expect to do an A1 or A0, where that's the paper size, single large poster.
Okay.
And I've not used this type of platform before, so I'm trying to understand, and perhaps Alex could chime in here, how to go from the standard notion of what we used to doing as academics for a poster to what we've got here.
I can provide some examples from the previous RDA plenary that use a similar platform. So essentially, instead of the A0 and A1 that you normally would create, you can create the same sort of size in a PDF and upload it as a resource and have an image like you have done that just represents the gist of your work. But I can make a note to provide some examples from the previous event that we run, if that would help.
Yeah, I would find that very useful. Thank you.
Definitely, sure.
All right. Any other questions do we have on poster, hall, and sponsors before we go in, like anything that you would like to know? And I will get back to you on the sizing, exact dimensions for the rotator images. But is there anything else as far as the questions of how do you go into here? Keep in mind, if you're not an admin, you cannot go into other posters and edit. All right, great. It looks, so thank you all once again for joining the training this morning. Please do direct any messages or questions that you may have to the IDCC and RDA team, and we'll do our best to make sure that, all questions are covered and that you are all set before, for the event before we do, before it does go live. So thank you again for joining, and we look forward to having all of your content up soon.
Can I ask one final question?
Yes.
I've been invited to these sessions for both IDCC and also for RDA.
Yes.
I assume they're going to be the same it's the same content in each.
You just need to put it in twice if are
Yeah,
you talking about this?
But I don't need to attend more than one session. It's going to be the same content in all of your sessions.
Oh, sorry, you're not talking about posters and
No, I'm talking about
a session. So yes,
Yeah.
if you're invited to both IDCC and to RDA, then you'll be able to access both.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions regarding poster hall and sponsors for RDA or IDCC?
Yeah, I've got a question actually.
Yes.
So does it go live on the 20th for RDA?
So users will be on the platform on Monday, on the 12th. So,
Right.
but the event itself for RDA, yes, it won't be happening till Tuesday, the 20th. That's correct.
So Monday is when the attendees can go and look at booths, for example.
Yeah, when users are on the site on Monday, they can actually start navigating through and looking at stuff. So we do recommend, trying to get as much content up so they can at least see, and then they can schedule meetings with you. That's why we want to make sure that you have as much information on your poster or your supporters so that there's some visibility, of course.
And presumably we can just edit it when we need to.
Yeah, you can, like I said, you can go in, you can edit it as many times as you want. You can change your resources as many times as you want. If you want different analytics for every day, you want to change your content you're putting on your poster, it is up to you. That's not something that we lock after you are completed with it.
Great, thank you.
All right. Any other questions before we head out? Keep in mind, this is recorded and we will be sharing the recording just in case anyone has any questions. All right, great. Thank you again for joining this morning. We appreciate it and we look forward to all of you putting up content as soon as you can. And if there's any immediate questions, please do reach out to the IDCC and RDA team. We appreciate it all. Thank you. Have a good day.